Hello. We are going to read Amelia Bedelia Road Trip. Today I'm going to read you 3 chapters, and they're the last 3 chapters of the book. Chapter 11, Fishing versus Catching. I see a pizza there. By Friday, the day before the Big Mouth Festival, the town was filling up with fishing fanatics. Amelia Bedelia and her parents took a walk to the public dock to check out where the fish would be weighed and measured. Amelia Bedelia and Audrey went fishing later that morning. Audrey practiced catching and casting with her rod and reel while Amelia Bedelia practiced with the cane pole. So here's a picture of their fishing rods. Amelia Bedelia knew her dad would admire how organized Audrey was. She was a planner with a checklist for everything she needed or might need. Her tackle box was filled with lures and spare reels. Audrey even had a strategy. You know what, Soaky? She told Amelia Bedelia. Remember, Soaky is the nickname for Audrey. I'm not going to fish until late in the day. I know where the big fish like to hide. I don't want people to see my fish and try my spot, because then I might not win. I'm going to come in with a huge fish right at the end of the contest at 5 o'clock. It's my best shot. That night, Amelia Bedelia, parents, and Mrs. Doc, and Audrey went into town for pizza. It was Amelia Bedelia's dad's idea. He's jealous, Amelia Bedelia's mom announced as they studied their menus. He remembered that tonight our dog is getting pizza at the kennel, so he got a craving for it. Oh yeah, remember it was at the dog kennel, they have pizza night. Puppy pizza day, said Audrey. Sweet. Amelia Bedelia wondered what Finally would order as her parents and Mr. and Mrs. Doc tried to outdo one another with how many weird toppings they could put on a pizza. I don't know what kind of pizza a dog would order. They added olives, peppers, mushrooms, sausage, meatballs, zucchini, beans, onions, anchovies, pineapple, and broccoli. Oh, and here's a picture of all the toppings they're ordering. Sounds gross. Amelia Bedelia's father ordered his pizza, Roman style, which meant a thin crust. But Amelia Bedelia's mother pointed out that the crust would break under the weight of his toppings. Amelia Bedelia and Audrey stuck with just cheese. A pitcher of lemonade arrived, and Doc proposed a toast. Here's to fishing and catching, he said. May you do both. To our fisher girls, Amelia Bedelia and Audrey, said Amelia Bedelia's mother. There was enough pizza left over to fill a whole box, which they took home for tomorrow's lunch. And that's the end of chapter 11. That was short. Chapter 12 is called Stumped. So they just had pizza, and now let's find out what happened next. On the day of the contest, Lake Largemouth was swarming with boats. Doc and Amelia Bedelia's dad took off in the mayor's speedboat to try their luck. Later, Amelia Bedelia's mother and Mrs. Doc headed into town to shop. Before they left, Amelia Bedelia's mother gave her daughter a hug. Have fun, she said. We'll be rooting for you. Take this leftover pizza with you for lunch. So here's a little box of pizza right there. Audrey was usually grumpy when she picked up Amelia Bedelia in the boat. She banged into the dock and dropped her spare reel overboard. Something wrong, Stinky? asked Amelia Bedelia. I'm doomed, said Audrey. Grandma Doc accidentally washed my lucky fishing shirt, and now it's not lucky anymore. Amelia Bedelia inhaled deeply. Yes, that amazing aroma that had hung over Audrey in the boat was gone. But you're really good at fishing, she said. You don't need luck. And then here's a picture of the shirt, and now it's clean, which Amelia Bedelia is happy about because before it was stinky because she never washed it. Gross. She stepped into the boat and sat on her favorite perch. Fishing is mostly luck, said Audrey. They headed out, full speed ahead, but they didn't get very far. Bang! The engine conked out. Oh no, said Audrey. Was that what I was thinking it was? That's when Amelia Bedelia remembered the stump that Doc had warned them about. Uh-oh. I can't believe this is happening, said Audrey. She tried to start the engine, but it was dead. She was close to tears. I planned for everything. Oh, why did Grandma Doc have to wash my shirt? And here's a picture of them. We have oars, said Amelia Bedelia. We can row. But it'll take so long, said Audrey. The contest will be over before we get to my spot. Amelia Bedelia felt terrible. She should have remembered about that stump. If she could have kicked herself, she would have kicked herself. Amelia Bedelia thought for a minute. I know, she said. Let's fish right here. No, there's nothing here, said Audrey. Unless you want to catch that stupid stump. But Stinky, didn't you tell me that bass like to hang out by tree roots? A stump that big must have hundreds of roots. There could be a big bass waiting down there, said Amelia Bedelia. Audrey wiped her eyes. It's worth a try, I guess, she said. She picked up her rod and cast her favorite lure near the underwater stump. But her lure got snagged so badly that she had to break it off. The same thing happened with her second favorite lure. When she lost her favorite lure and got her reel tangled, Audrey quit. Amelia Bedelia was out of ideas, so every time she'd cast it, well, it's hard to do it backward. These things, they kept getting stuck on the tree stump. Oh, and here they are. Her stomach growled. She opened the pizza box. She offered a slice to Audrey, but Audrey was so angry that she took the slice of pizza and flung it as hard as she could. It skipped across the surface like a flat stone until it came to rest right above the stump. That pizza floated like an abandoned ship. Suddenly, a whirlpool opened beneath it and inhaled the pizza. Oh, I wonder if it's a fish down there. See? I think it's going to be a fish. Amelia Bedelia and Audrey looked at each other. What was that? They both yelled. That, said Audrey, was a ginormous big-mouthed bass. Her eyes lit up and she grabbed her rod. Oh no, I'll never untangle this reel in time. Amelia Bedelia picked up her cane pole. Try this, she said. Amelia Bedelia sprinkled some water from the lake onto the last pizza to soften it. This slice had a crazy combination of toppings. I hope Mr. Bass likes some anchovies, said Audrey as she carefully squished the pizza around the hook, forming a lump as big as a tennis ball. You cast it, Soaky, she said. You've practiced it all week. So there's Amelia Bedelia getting the pizza ready for the fish to eat. Oh. Okay, said Amelia Bedelia, but then I'm handing it to you. Amelia Bedelia looked at the lake. Ripples were still moving out across the water. She imagined a giant bullseye. The center was where their pizza ball had to land. She leaned back. Oh, I think this fish is going to like their pizza ball. She leaned back and yelled that bass. Oops. She leaned back and yelled, "Pizza pie!" and cast the bait dead center with a splash. She handed the pole to Audrey, but nothing happened. Seconds passed, still nothing. More nothing. And then they looked at each other and it happened. It was like a toilet had flushed in the lake. The pizza disappeared into the biggest mouth Amelia Bedelia had ever seen on a fish. Audrey let the fish take the dough ball to the bottom. Then she leaned back hard to see and set the hook to snag the fish. Oh, they're going to get the biggest. Did you get it? Asked Amelia Bedelia. I think so, said Audrey. She had, because just then the only thing that kept Audrey from being yanked overboard was Amelia Bedelia holding her tightly around her waist. The fish circled their boat one way, then the other. The fish went right, the fish went left, then jumped in the air, walking across the surface on its tail. Luckily, that bass tired out before they did. Grab the cooler, yelled Audrey. Oh my gosh, this fish sounds huge. How can you be thirsty at a time like this? Asked Amelia Bedelia. Empty it and put it in the lake, said Audrey. Amelia Bedelia held the cooler overboard and let it fill with lake water. Then Audrey steered the fish into the cooler to trap it. The cooler was big, but this fish was huge. It could barely fit. 1, 2, 3, lift! They heaved the cooler full of water and fish into the boat. Water sloshed and the fish flapped, but they did it, and they collapsed into giggles. Suddenly, Amelia Bedelia remembered the symbols of the boat and the fish on their map. This fish was almost as big as the boat. Her fortune came true. Sir Entries gives prize fish 10 minutes. The staticky loudspeaker on the public dock told them that they were running out of time. Hurry, Soaky, shouted Amelia and Audrey. They took turns rowing and rowing until they got to the dock. We were getting worried about you two, said Doc. Hurry, it's almost over. Dad, help us, shouted Amelia Bedelia as they struggled with the cooler. Amelia Bedelia's father and Doc each grabbed a handle and hoisted it onto the dock. Whew, said Doc. What's in here? $500, said Amelia Bedelia. And that's the end of the chapter. So now the last chapter, we're going to find out if they win the contest to get $500. So you'll have to click and listen to the next chapter.